Everybody, I'm Dale, and welcome to Everything Wrong with Moderates Part 2. So, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Bill Maher, and he's going to be the focus of this because this is another huge problem amongst moderates in this country and the messages that they spread. So, Bill Maher. I watch a lot of politics. Again, I'm a political junkie. I've been watching politics for the last 7 years. I spent way too much time on it, but it's kind of like one of my hobbies. I think everybody needs to have a hobby. Politics is actually pretty entertaining. I mean, whether you hate or love Trump made politics the most entertaining it's probably ever going to be in my entire lifetime. So we can thank him for that. But people like Bill Maher, he was doing an interview. And in his interview, the interviewer asked him, hey, did you get more views than people that a lot of these other late night comedy shows, especially the ones that are once a week? I think he gets more views than John Oliver. And John Oliver, he has a ton of awards. And so the interviewer's asking him, do you have more views than John Oliver or the Tonight Show or the Daily Show? Why haven't you won any rewards or any awards? Why haven't you won any awards whenever you have the most views than any of these other people? And to give Bill Maher a lot of credit, he came up with a decent answer. He didn't throw anybody under the bus. He didn't talk trash about anybody. I don't remember exactly what his answer was, but in my mind, after the interviewer asked that question, I'm thinking to myself, why would you get an award for telling people what they want to hear? I mean, Bill Maher had to go out of his way to find some story about some transgender person, reading a story to kids in order to point out the radicalism on the left. I mean, really? That's the radicalism on the left? I mean, you do a political show. You mean to tell me, find me some Democrats in this country who are out here wanting to mandate that transgender people read to our kids or anything along those lines. Most of them ain't even paying attention to anything like that. But instead, on Bill Maher's show, because he has to be in the middle and he has to call everything like it is, he has to scrape the bottom of the barrel for stories to try to make it sound like the left is even in the same ballpark as radical as the right. And so you're not going to win any awards, Bill. You're not going to win them if you're telling people what they want to hear, because that's what every moderate and every conservative in this country wants to hear. They want to hear that no matter what conservatives do, that no matter what the Republicans do, that the Democrats are just as bad or worse. That's all they want to know. And that makes them feel good, because then, it doesn't matter how mean. It doesn't. Literally, people like Bill Maher give the conservative party cover for being a-holes because they have to constantly create this sense of false equivalency between the two sides. And the two sides are not the same. Anybody who thinks that the two sides are the same is not really paying attention. And look, I get it, Bill. His job is to make money. His job is to get the most amount of views on his channel as possible. That's his job. That's what he does. I mean, I'm trying to start this channel here. I want to get as many views as I can. But his number one job is to get views. But me, I'm going to try to get views by making content for everybody, content that's geared towards everybody. And again, I think it's most important that we just focus on the things that we can focus on, the things that we can control. So Bill Maher is never, ever going to win an award in his entire lifetime if he keeps telling people what they want to hear. If he doesn't take a stand. It's like I talked about in the last moderate video. Moderates, it's okay to take a stand. Being in the middle is never, ever the right place to be. Very rarely is being in the middle the right place to be. Almost every issue, almost every discussion, there's a right answer as far as if you're talking about what's better overall for society, and there's a wrong answer as far as what's worse overall for society, no matter what political issue there is. And there's a ton of data to back all of it up. So it's okay to take sides. The problem is, a lot of these people in this country, as soon as you start taking a side on anything, they start seeing you as a political hack. And that's a huge problem. And I'm not saying that problem is Bill Maher's fault. What I'm saying is that Bill Maher feeds that. He feeds this whole idea that, well, if I actually take a stand on anything, if I do actually tell it like it is, and I do actually point out the BS, and I do actually, reaffirm the idea that both sides are the same, well, somehow, that takes away from your cachet as being a moderate. And like I talked about in the other video, moderates see themselves as like these arbiters, as like the arbiters of democracy, like the like the last check and balance against tyranny. And the fact of the matter is that if they keep creating this false equivalency, we're all going to be living under tyranny. Because if you don't call out tyranny where it is, and if you don't take a side when authoritarianism is on the table, then it's going to sneak up on you a lot faster than you think. So again, not here to beat up on anybody except Bill Maher. But, you know, even though I talk a little bit of trash about him, I watch the show all the time because, again, I think he does have a finger on the pulse of moderates in this country. I think he does. I think that's why he gets so many views. Because he does have a finger on the pulse of moderates and conservatives in this country. The problem is that he would rather tell them what they want to hear than tell them the truth. So y'all have a good night.